Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Wager Detective coming to you live from the Tropicana, Atlantic City. Today is May 28th, 2026. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Wager Detective Report. Before we get into this, Cap, be sure to follow Wager Detective on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. Set alerts on Twitter and subscribe on YouTube. And always remember, Wager Detective appreciates all and any support that he gets, and I really do love all my fans. Let's get into this, Cap, right here. Now we got the Angels taking on the Tigers, and the Angels this year, 21-34. They're 6-9 in one-run games. They're 5-5 in their last 10, and they're only 9-18 in road games this year. And if we look at the Angels, they are 3-6 their last 9 overall versus the Tigers. They're and in those last 9 versus the Tigers, it is 7 over and 2 under. They're scoring 4.22 runs per game to 7 runs per game for the Tigers. So not good on the road. Not good last 9 versus the Tigers. 3-6 in those last 9 meetings. 7 over, 2 under in those games. But when they do play at Detroit, they are 6-5 their last 11 at the Tigers. 6 over and 5 under. And in that last 11 at the Tigers, they're scoring 5.27 runs per game to 4.36. That comes out to 9.63 runs per game average. Now, if we look at what they've done this year in road day games, they're only 4-7, the Angels are. 6 over, 5 under. So you're seeing a theme here towards that over, right? The Angels versus the Tigers, 7 over, 2 under in their last 9. Last 11 at the Tigers, 6 over, 5 under. And then their 11 road day games this year for the Angels, where they're 4-7, 6 over, 5 under. And in their 11 road day games this year, they're scoring 5 runs a game to 5.81 for their opponents. It comes out to 10.81 runs per game. In their 11 road day games this year, the Angels have scored 5+ 5 times, and their opponents have scored 5+ 6 times. The Angels are 5-4 in their last 9 overall, scoring 4.55 runs per game to 4.77 runs per game, 4 over and 5 under in the Angels' last 9 games. Again, they're scoring 4.55 runs per game to 4.77 for their opponents. In the last 9 games for the Angels, they have scored 5+ 5 times, and their opponents have scored 5+ 4 times. Now, this year versus the American League Central, not looking good. They're only 3-11 this year versus the AL Central. They were swept by the Royals in a 4-game series, and they were swept by the White Sox earlier this year. So 3-11 versus the AL Central. They're scoring 3.71 runs per game to 5.71 for their Central Division foes, being outscored 80 runs to 52 over those 14 games. Comes out to 9.42 runs per game average. So, something to keep in mind there. Something to keep in mind when you look at all that. It's not looking good for the Angels. They got Grayson Rodriguez on the mound. He's been absolutely shelled this year, guys. I mean, he just 11.6 innings pitched. He's given up a bunch of hits here. Where can I find this, guys? I mean, he's just getting absolutely shelled. I lost this paperwork here for that, but in 2 games this year, they've been beaten pretty good when he's on the mound. The guy does have a 21-9 record in his career. He's coming off a shoulder surgery, and if you look at the line that's set today, they got the Angels at +110. So they're thinking that this guy's going to come out and play well today. I mean, there's no question about it. +110 for a guy that's, a team that's 9-18 on the road, and 4-7 in road day games this year, but they are 5-4 in their last 9. But they got a pitcher on the mound that has 11+ ERA in his first 2 starts. But I did find out that he is in 2 starts. When he started for the teams that he pitched when he was with other teams, he is 2-0 against the Tigers. 10 innings pitched, I believe, and he's just given up 1 earned run. So He does pitch good against the Tigers, and I like backing a pitcher in certain ways that hasn't looked good in his first 2 starts, because the line tells it all, right? Line tells it all. You're plus 110, and if you look at this team, you say to yourself, well, maybe they do have a shot, maybe they don't. But versus the Tigers, he's had in 2023 10 innings pitched, 7 hits, 0 earned runs, and 15 Ks in 10 innings pitched versus the Tigers. So very, very interesting stat line there. In those 2 games that Rodriguez started versus the Tigers in his career, a 2-1 win for his team and a 6-4 win as well. Vierling hit him 2 for 5, was 2 for 5 in a game. Torkelson had an RBI. Green was 1 for 5 in those games with 3 strikeouts. McKinstry was 1 for 3 with 2 Ks in those innings pitched. So something to keep in mind there as we go on into this cap, and let's take a look at what the Detroit Tigers are doing this year. The Tigers, oh my God, what a fall from grace. They were just absolutely unstoppable last year. They went on this magical run. You thought maybe getting Frambler, Valdez to go along with Skubal could be awesome, because they got Casey Mize, they got Montero. I do believe the Tigers at some point will go on a run where they reel off, and that's where you really want it. When they hit that streak where they win 4, 5, 6 in a row, and you're getting like good odds, minus 150, just roll that over night after night with the Tigers, because they're going to hit that stretch where they win 4, 5, 6, 7 or more in a row. And if you're rolling that over night after night, it can compound real fast. But Tigers right now, 1-9 in their last 10, 3-17 in their last 20. A bright spot here, they are 13-13 in home games this year, but only 5-11 in 1-run games. So if the games are close, it's bad. Something to keep in mind there. Okay, so they are 6-3 in home day games this year. They've lost their last 3 home day games by 1, but have only scored 1 run in their last 3 home day games for the Tigers. So something to keep in mind there as we go into this. A team that's 1-9 in their last 10, 3-17 in their last 20. They're 6-3 in home day games this year, so pretty good there. And the 3 that they lost were their last 3 consecutively where they've scored 1 run in those games. So in their 9 home day games this year, 3 over, 5 under. They're scoring 5.22 runs a game, the 3.44 for their opponents, outscoring their opponents 47 runs to 31. So the Tigers are 2-7 in their last 9, 3 over and 6 under in those games. Okay, 3.22 runs per game to 4.55 for their opponents. In their last 9, they're being outscored 41 runs to 29. Now, this is a situational split of the cap where we look at a certain angle, and this is going to be the last game of a homestand before the Tigers hit the road with no rest in between. They are 4-4 in that situation. In their last 8, 4 over, 3 under, 1 push, and something to keep in mind versus the AL West this year. They are 3-2, 1 over, 3 under. They're scoring 4.4 runs a game to 4.2 for their American League West counterparts. Comes out to 8.6 runs per game. So if we look at the Tigers, 5-6, the last 11 at home versus the Angels, they're scoring 4.36 runs in that split. And if you look at them over their last 9 games, they're only scoring 3.22 runs per game and giving up 4.55. So the Angels, as bad as they've been, right? As bad as they've been, they're playing better over their last 9 games where they're 5-4. They're not necessarily bad in road day games. They're scoring 5 runs a game in 11 road day games this year. They're scoring 4.55 over their last 9 overall. It's really something that's why this cap is so interesting, because I think people are going to look at Grayson Rodriguez, are going to see what he's done in his last 2 starts. But like we said, against the Tigers, he's got a 2-0 record when he starts. His team has a 2-0 record when he starts, and he's just mowing guys down. And this was only back in 2023, right, when he faced the Tigers. So only a few short years ago, 10 innings pitched, only giving up 7 hits, 0 earned runs in 10 innings pitched. So, against the Tigers. So, certain organizations play certain pitchers a certain way. It's just the way that it is. So I follow that. And you look at the Tigers, 6-3 in home day games this year, but 2-7 in their last 9. They're 1-9 in their last 10. They're 3-17 in their last 20. They're just going through it. Do you want to catch a falling knife and say, listen, they're going to win here? And again, last game of a homestand before hitting the road with no rest in between. They are 4-4 in their last 8 in that situation. And on the mound today, they're going to have Jack Flaherty. I mean, the Tigers are 0-5 in his last 5 starts. 2 over, 2 under. They're scoring 2.2 runs per game to 6 for their opponents when Flaherty starts. And in those starts, 21.2 innings pitched, 27 hits, 16 earned runs, 7 walks, 27 strikeouts, and has given up 4 home runs. That's coming out to a 6.77 ERA, a 1.57 whip, and he's giving up 1.66 home runs per 9 over his last 5 outings for Flaherty. So, I mean, at this point, I'm looking at this cap and I'm saying to myself, guys, I mean, the Angels, I know they haven't been playing well, but, you know, you're talking about having, you know, guys in that lineup, as you can see here, Trout, Soler, not guys that you're, Zach Neto, they got him in the expected lineup is going to have him leading off. I look at this lineup for the Tigers, and they got some guys in there, man, they can get it done. People are going to see that 10.61 ERA by Rodriguez. But Flaherty, this year, he's going to be pitching on 5 days rest. His team is 1-2 in those games. 1 over, 1 under, 1 push in his 3 starts on 5 days rest this year. 13.1 innings pitched, giving up 13 hits, 8 earned runs, a home run, and 9 walks. That's coming out to a 5.41 ERA, a 1.65 whip. The home runs per 9 go down to 0.67 on the 5 days rest. But in his career versus the Angels, any team he's played for, when he starts versus them, he's 0-3. A 7-11 loss, an 0-5 loss, and a 2-5 loss. 9 runs to 21. That's coming out to 3 runs to 7 runs per game average for Flaherty's opponents when he plays the Angels. So all these things are adding up to just looking at this and saying, guys, I don't know if I can get by. You look at and by the way, when he starts versus the Angels, he's not only his teams are not only 0-3, right? It's not because they're not hitting for him. It's just because in those 3 games against the Angels in his career, he's got 13.2 innings pitched, has given up 24 hits, 19 earned runs for a 12.5 ERA and a 1.98 whip, and that's only from May 24 to May 25, all those games. Guys, that's not a good thing. So Wager Detective is going to call this cap early. He's going to call the Los Angeles Angels to pick up the win here today and close off this series with the Detroit Tigers. That's the call here. Los Angeles Angels plus 110 for Wager Detective. This is May 28th, 2026. And be sure to follow Wager Detective on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. And remember, guys, Wager Detective loves all his fans. I'm just getting started. I'll talk to you soon.